We're going back to the record books. I can't decide if this one is beatable or not. What is the longest putt ever made?
I would guess around the 300 feet range.
Okay, so it was for a while. It actually was just beat maybe 3 months ago, which it feels like all these golf award or records are being beat recently. It's kind of funny, but it's actually 466 feet, which is roughly, 155 yards by this guy named Henry Grillo. And just curious, how long do you think it took from the time he hit the putt to the time it went in?
I would say like 20 seconds, 20, 25
Yeah, it was
seconds.
less. He hit it really
Oh.
hard. It was 17 seconds from the time he hit it to the time it went in the cup. I don't know. What are your thoughts if we could beat this?
I think it would take a long time and a lot of frustration. But I feel like if you have the runway, if you know what you're trying to do and you can figure it out, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the setup is so important. It obviously has to be on the course, like a legit course. But obviously there's holes where balls funnel to and pin position makes such a difference here and how the ball funnels on the green to the hole. I feel like you could find the right hole in America where this is very possible.
Absolutely. And I mean, that is so long. It'd be hard to find, a green that would support that. I'm assuming you got to hit it from the fairway or something at least. So it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we got this. We'll get this one.
A local municipal golf course says it's been overrun by what some are calling, quote, hack golfers.
Has the game grown too much? Do we need more scratch golfers? I'm telling you, hacks slow the game down. You can't grow golf if people are chunking it into the weeds all day.
Scratch player?
Hey, everybody, it's Dez, and welcome to Hack and Scratch Podcast, episode number 3. Casey, this is our third episode. The season's heating up. How is it going?
It's going great. Golf is finally back. We finally feel like we're in the swing of things where every few days now, we have some sort of golf going on, whether it's the PGA Tour, whether it's TGL, or hearing about some breaking news about some contract somebody signed or something like that. So it's a good time for golf right now.
Nice. Speaking of which, I feel like we were just saying last week, the LIV is never going to get good talent and they don't have a funnel pool. And then, of course, as soon as we say that, the next day they go and sign the number one amateur. I think he won the Division I title, the individual title last year, Michael Lasasso. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, a big move by LIV after, losing a few folks to sign somebody who's young and up and comer and is probably super motivated to play some high level golf. And when I first saw this, I'm thinking to myself, what a lucky guy, right? He gets to get probably a pretty big payday in addition to joining a team with Phil Mickelson, one of the most decorated golfers of our time. So I get it. I understand why players still want to do it, but you do sacrifice trying to make it on the PGA Tour to go to LIV.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I mean, honestly, this guy was definitely primed to join the PGA very soon. And I think, it doesn't come without its sacrifice. He has to give up that initial path. Of course, he can eventually make it there. And what was interesting is someone said, well, most of the penalties lie if you leave the PGA Tour and go play LIV. Not too much is being said with if you start with the LIV Tour, what your penalties will be trying to get to the PGA for the first time. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I can't imagine what his contract was. I bet it was pretty incredible just because I feel like LIV needed this win, but he does have to forfeit his ability to play in the Masters in this upcoming year, which, that in itself is sacrifice. Yeah, but ultimately this is definitely a big move for LIV in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to your point about the contract, we probably will never know what it actually is, but there was a lot of speculation online. And this guy, Lou Stagner, who I was reading a few comments about, he estimated that it'd be in the $20 million range, which at its face value, like, all right, $20 million. It doesn't seem like a lot because we know how big some of these other contracts were that these other players signed. But then he followed it up with, that puts you on 106th on the career money list on the PGA Tour. Think about how instantly you're on the career money list, almost in the top 100, outpacing everybody else, most of the other people on tour. That to me is pretty incredible.
Just guaranteed money, that much money. You never know how a tour player is going to pan out, no matter how they're good in college. Yeah, that's be hard to pass up. So, I kind of don't blame him. Very interesting move. Should kind of shake up, their talent pool and who they're able to recruit. And we'll see if this kind of sticks.
Definitely looking forward to it.
So, this next one, I kind of twisted the headline and the original headline of this. Rory has 4 of his 6 infinity stones, which I thought was funny. Can you guess which 2 are left? So he's got 4, needs 2 more. I thought this was a kind of a funny article. Do you have any idea what he still needs?
He's got the career slam. He's got the Masters. He's got the Open Championship, Ryder Cup.
Yes, Ryder Cup he has. He now has his away Ryder Cups. That's you got.
Oh, is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, but so he has an Open. You're right, but he doesn't have an Open at the most iconic Open venue, which is obviously near and dear to his heart. So an Open win at St. Andrews, which he can get in 2027, and the last one, which is coming up also in 2028. Can you guess?
Olympics, I'd have to
Yes,
guess.
he does
All
not
right.
have an Olympic medal of any color. And so an Olympic medal and an Open at St. Andrews would kind of cap off all of his 6 incredible major accomplishments that he'd want to go after, which is crazy. I mean, that to have that list and be able to accomplish it in the next 2 years, which very doable, if that's what he wants to kind of motivate himself with and set his eyes on, would be really cool to see.
Absolutely. And I think, especially for me, I was rooting hard for him to win the Masters last year and complete the Slam. And people wonder, does that mean he takes his foot off the gas, or does that mean that the weight has been lifted and now he can focus on some of these more, I don't want to say obscure, but a little more maybe personal accomplishments rather than like in the sport of golf. So I'm really curious. I hope he pulls them both off. I think that would be incredible, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah. I totally agree. The USGA released some new new data for 2025, just recapping their year. Obviously, they have all this data with the handicap and GIN. So we actually saw an increase in the number of participation in having a handicap. And I think it's a pretty sizable increase when I think about it. From a year-over-year standpoint, it was 8.2% increase in the number of golfers, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, I think we're still just riding the wave of people learning how to play golf during COVID. And we're, however many years out. And it's just growing and growing with it more accessible with TGL and people just being able to enjoy golf in their own way. Not surprised that, people get into it so much.
Yeah. Yeah. This next one, data point they released, is way higher than I thought it would be. What % of golfers do you think carry a scratch or better handicap?
I would think anywhere between 5 and 10%.
Okay, so it's actually lower. It's 2%. But I mean, I've seen stats where it's like the odds of being a scratch golfer versus whatever just are astronomical. I think in the context of people who have a membership to the USGA and carry an index, yes, maybe it's more than average. I bet in reality it's like a quarter, maybe even a 0.25% of golfers have a scratch index. I think when you look at the pool of people who have and carry year over year a handicap, that it's up. So it's 2%. But that didn't make me feel great. I was like,
Sure.
2%. So if I line up 100 golfers, there's still 2 of them that are scratch, which is such an accomplishment. It's not, it's not a 1, it's not a single digit handicap, is scratch or better. So pretty amazing.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, has scratch golf not, the bar anymore? Because it kind of used to be, I know. And it used to be, like scratch golfers are some of the best. And then, the pros are playing +5 and +6. And to even stay competitive, I've read like if you want to be anywhere near the PGA Tour, you got to be shooting 5 to 6 under consistently. So it makes me wonder how like that needle is moving towards you. To be considered some of the best, you got to be even better. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. The last stat I'll give you from it is what state in the U.S. led for the most rounds posted?
I would say Arizona or Florida.
Great call. It's Florida. Just, I think, sheer number of golf courses size, it dominates. So Florida led the nation. Which state on average had the best handicap?
That I would put Arizona.
Okay, it's randomly and shout out to Redneck Golf. No, it's not Redneck Golf. Austin Reeves. I can't remember what he goes by on his socials for golf, but shout out to Austin Reeves. It is Arkansas. It
Oh,
is the state of Arkansas has the lowest average handicap at 10.6.
would not have guessed that.
I know. There's no way. So, speaking of the golf being in swing already, we were just talking about, nothing really is happening interesting on TGL. I feel like it's flying under the radar this year, and then something momentous like this happened. So, I'll let you take away the highlight.
Yeah, so last week's match was between the LA Golf Club and Jupiter Links. Jupiter Links kind of has always struggled within TGL, and then it's kind of compounded by the shot of the night by Justin Rose making an albatross on the par 5 10th hole. Looks like he holed out from 225 yards with the 5-iron, which just has to be the coolest feeling to be able to do that in this arena type format, because the place went crazy and it was just so fun to see. For me, it was so fun to see Justin Rose so excited about it. And I think he said that that's his first ever albatross. And I know people are going to say, well, it wasn't a real albatross. Like, sure, whatever. But it's so impressive. And one of my favorite parts was right when it happened, the rest of the team, the LA Golf Club, was all celebrating. And you look and you can tell Tiger's like trying not to get excited for him because he's still competing. He's still
Sure.
Tiger. But he, of course, did congratulate and smile. But when it went in, he was just stone-faced. And it was just kind of funny to see that competitiveness is still there. But overall, like, props to Justin Rose. That was so cool.
That's awesome. I am in the mean camp of saying it does not count. I feel like if I went to a sim, and now I get it, it's in the spirit of competition, it's in TGL, which does make it more legitimate. But if I go to a sim, golf area and I hit a hole in one, I'm not going around telling people I hit a hole in one.
I get that. I agree.
Yeah. Well, TGL continues on. We got a matchup tomorrow, but in the terms of, I'm not going to say real golf, but a PGA Tour events, Scotty Scheffler has already won his first tournament, and we're 3 weeks into January. Already has won his first tournament. One he probably shouldn't have won, in my opinion. Just looking at the sheet, we talked about it last week. The American Express, to really open up his year, we talked about last week that he's probably treating this as a kind of a warm up for the season, and to think he goes and wins it by 4 strokes at 27 under. The rest of the PGA is in for something special the rest of the year, and I don't know if they want to see it. If you're a player, the warning shot has been shot. So it's incredible what he was able to pull off this weekend.
Absolutely. And, I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm sure you are too, because last week we're like, he's not going to win. He'll probably be in like a top 10. And I said exactly this. I said famous last words, because like that's what happened when you would bet against Tiger. And we're starting to see that, and where it's not advantageous to bet against Scotty Scheffler. And he's proven it time and time again. So I don't think he's playing this next week, but we'll see him out at the bigger tournaments, and he's just going to be a force.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the next time we see him is at the Waste Management, if I'm not mistaken. But another storyline from this past week at the Amex is something I called even before we started shooting these podcasts. Our test podcasts, our podcasts leading up to this, we talked about the number one players to watch for in 2026. And I pulled this out of a hat. But I said Blades Brown, you better watch out for. And that kid lights it up this weekend.
Yeah, and you were absolutely right. And he came out of the gate swinging. And to see him play, with Scotty is just so cool. Because what I was thinking the whole time is like, this kid is getting probably not a once in a lifetime experience, but maybe at his age, absolutely, to be able to be in the mix with these other incredible golfers, and for him to keep his cool and be able to score as much as he did. Like, It's incredible. And then I think he beat the course record. He
Tied it.
unfortunately didn't. He tied the course record. Fortunately, he did not get that 59, which I was also disappointed about. I was really rooting for him, but so much fun to watch nonetheless.
I thought another funny clip was he just has a great personality. And you know, amidst having the incredible pressure that this was, you know, he's going up to fans, he's doing rock paper scissors, and then going to hit his birdie putt. Just seems like a great character, obviously a great name in golf, and I hope this is the start of many great things to come for Blades Brown. As far as our finishes go, obviously we release what our picks are for the week, and our highest finish was SH Kim, which was my 301 long shot. Finished T18, so pretty good performance relative to what was expected. And then you had Berger at T56. So not our greatest week overall. I think a lot of Sunday movement kind of hurt us, but we'll hopefully get back on the horse. And yes, it was frustrating to know that I think it was 2.5 to 1 shot, Scotty Scheffler pulled this off. It's not an easy thing to pick when you got all these great golfers with great odds behind them. But the smart bet was Scotty for sure. YouTube, golf YouTube had a great week. I thought there weren't as many videos around, but I watched a lot of the major ones that got views. And we'll first talk about Bob Does Sports. So it's incredible that they're able to get some of the best players in the world. One really big fan of theirs is John Rahm, and he did a food challenge, which is not the first time they've done a food challenge. They did tacos not too long ago, but this one was a donut challenge, Krispy Kreme donut challenge, where they each had to eat 12 Krispy Kreme donuts in 9 holes and then score 7 under in a scramble with the 4 of them. However, you know, the excellence that John Rahm exudes, he couldn't just do this in 9 holes. He downed 13 donuts. So even going beyond what he's supposed to do, 13 donuts before he hit his second hole tee shot.
It's incredible. And like, I was so locked in. I was like, is he really just downing all of these? And like 13 by the end of the hole is crazy. What I loved even more though, is that he had eaten 11 by the time the cart pulled up to his first approach shot. So in between the tee and his second shot, he took care of that. And it was like no big deal to him at all. And the rest of the group seemed kind of surprised, and it was hilarious. And then he, you know, stuck it to 10 feet, made birdie, and then called his wife to brag about it. And I thought it's just hilarious. He is the perfect guy to have on that show right now. And I just love it. I wanted to see it all over again.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. And I know we get, you know, in the comments and things like that this isn't real golf. You guys are talking about nonsense. And I totally get it. I mean, this is nonsense. Finishing, you know, 12 donuts while playing 9 holes of golf. Total nonsense. However, very entertaining. So that was a great video. And they did obviously accomplish it. I think they crushed the donuts by like hole 3 for most of them. And then I think, or maybe it was hole 6. And then, you know, they finished, I think it was 8 under par, maybe right at the goal, a little bit better. But on the other side of things, we did have a little bit more serious of a competition. And it was Grant Horvat on the Good channel for the first time in, God, I think they said 6 years. I think they said 6 years or something like that. But they called it the Good Reunion Major, in which all the original Good cast came together and played a single 18 rounds with like given handicaps, stroke play. Now, I came into all this really before Good was a thing. Or after Good was a thing. So I'm kind of playing catch up on everything that went down with Good and Grant leaving and Michael leaving. But what I did notice from this whole interaction was there is still a little bit of tension there. You know, there's a little bit of tension there. They've all moved on. They've all done great. But there's a little bit of tension there. Did you get a chance to watch it at all?
I was able to watch some of it, and I kind of get it. I mean, you build kind of this incredible business from the ground up at very young age. And then the guys kind of realize like, hey, this is working for me. I have other people asking me to do this and that. And that's kind of how Grant peeled off a little bit. And I mean, he made the best of it. Like, what an incredible kind of brand and business that he's built just by himself. So I get it, but I can understand that is still maybe there a little bit for the guys that didn't jump off and do their own thing. But I love that they did it. It shows that there's still some love there, even though they want to beat each other. So yeah, I thought.
Yeah. And in terms of boy band terms, if, Grant was the one to leave and kind of take a lot of stardom with him and build what he's built on his solo brand, to still think that, good is as big as it is, and the people that stayed behind, and even Micah with what he's done, like, it's all great. They're all doing phenomenal. It's not like one person left and took all the success with them. Yeah, sure, maybe it's the more popular channel. It's what's hot right now. They're all doing good. It was great to see that, but you could tell Grant really wanted to win this one to prove something a little bit, and he didn't disappoint. He won it pretty handedly. Um, and then to the chagrin of especially Micah, you could tell equally or more Micah wanted to win it. But Grant Horvat takes it down. They all end on good terms, and they said they want to do this again and more frequent. So ultimately, a great end. This next one, I didn't know if you were going to watch. I randomly watched it, but you can't put Fat Prez in a headline and say, he's playing for $15,000 and not think I'm going to watch it. So on Augusta Golf's, who actually just signed with a Breezy, Bob Does Sports label, played Fat Perez in a rematch for $15,000. Fat Perez took down the first one of these, and then Augusta Golf just did the second one. What did you think of that one?
I mean, it's so funny because you said a few minutes ago, like, yes, YouTube golf is ridiculous and still entertaining. That's how I felt about this, where I was like, God, I really wish Fat Perez would be playing a lot better. And like, I had to catch myself. I'm like, hey man, they're just having fun out there. It's not that serious. But at the same time, like, I'm watching him chunk chips and just hit some bad drives. And I was like, gosh, it's just not his day to day. And I just thought it was so funny that I was having those thoughts. And because I like him a lot. He's fun to watch and he's a really good golfer. So I expected him to kind of take that and clean house, but it didn't go his way this time.
No, it did not. And $15,000, I get these guys get actually paid quite well and do quite well, but 15,000 is 15,000. That's a lot of money. And if Busta Golf loses that, he's down 30 over the course of this match. So that's pretty incredible. Well, we have an amazing event, one of my favorite on tour, especially early on in the season, probably because the location just gets me excited that West Coast Golf is here and at a course that's so familiar and known as Torrey Pines. But the Farmers Open is this week at Torrey Pines. We got a great lineup of golfers signed up for it. We'll talk about who we like this week, but any thoughts on Farmers Open and Torrey Pines in general? Have you played Torrey?
I have not. I have a gift card sitting in my wallet that is for Torrey Pines, just waiting to be used. So maybe I head down your way and we do that.
Nice.
But I love Torrey Pines. I love watching this tournament. I used to go to tournaments all the time when I was a kid, and I didn't go for a long time. And then I think 3 years ago, I went to the Farmers Insurance Open. I'm like, gosh, why don't I go to more golf tournaments? Like, this is so much fun to watch, especially at Torrey, where it's pretty large and you can walk almost anywhere. You can get an up close and personal, like, front row seat to almost any hole, maybe, except on Sunday toward the end of the day. But it's just so much fun to watch, and especially to be there. Yeah, I love watching it because I think it's a beautiful course too.
That's amazing. Usually, we look at key course stats. This is kind of puzzling. What I took away from looking through the data is that this just really requires a complete game this week, right? You need to be able to do everything really well, put it together, putt well. There really isn't one stat or one area that stands out so much. Like putting last week at the Amex, you just got to have a complete game this week. And the winners in the past kind of show it. And so their performances were pretty complete. What's interesting is obviously the Farmers was won by Harris English last year, but he wasn't the only winner at Torrey Pines. The Genesis had to be played due to the fires at Torrey as well. So you actually had two winners at Torrey last year. The second being Ludwig Oberg, who is in the field this week, and I think maybe second top two on the odds list. So where are the golfers that you're liking this week?
Yeah, my number one pick is Xander Schauffele for this week. One of the things that I think about for Torrey Pines is you do well when you know the course very well. And Xander Schauffele, being a Southern California kid, probably has played Torrey Pines more than the average golfer. And so he knows the course. He knows the shots that he needs to hit. Not saying that others do, but I really think if you have more practice around a golf course, you know it better. So he's probably my top pick for this tournament. The other one was Jason Day, who had an incredible week last week and kind of outperformed how people thought he was going to play. And he's always done pretty well at Torrey Pines as well in past years. I like him there. Experience. He's played Torrey Pines a bunch as well. So that's why I like him. Another guy that I had was Sam Stevens. Also had an incredible week last week. And he's one of the guys that's been kind of like waiting to jump out. And so I look forward to see what he's doing because he's just been pretty consistent. And then my last one, probably, as you mentioned, would be Ludwig Oberg. The only thing that I'm a little concerned is that he withdrew from the American Express because of illness. And, you know, it's been a few days, so I'm sure he's fine, but we'll see how that affects it.
So that's crazy because going into this last year, he was feeling sick. Played actually the first 3 rounds, was either leading or in the top 5 and just couldn't get it to go and withdrew at the end of the Farmers last year and then goes and wins, you know, obviously Genesis later on. But it was a big storyline last year because it looked like he probably would have won it last year if he wasn't so sick. So funny that we have a similar storyline coming into this year. Yeah, a lot of great golfers are on this list. Defending champ Harris English comes in at 35 to 1. And then I was scrolling through and great to see that name on a PGA list. Brooks Koepka coming in at 45 to 1. I think that's very generous given it's the first tournament back, but wow, wouldn't that be something special if he pulls off something in his homecoming? So, amazing. I myself, it just kind of how the data played out and where I actually saw it. I'm just going very Nordic with my picks this week. I only have 3. They're all in that kind of mid tier of golfer, but I'm going the Højgaard brothers, Rasmus and Nikolai. I think their game allows them to go low here. I'm not sure exactly which one will do it. It's funny. You know, being brothers, they have such similar games in quality, and they're always kind of paired together as far as odds go, but I like it. For some reason, it just felt right, and we're obviously looking for our first win of 2026. Hopefully, we get it. The last one, who I've been watching probably more YouTube golf of this guy lately than in professional golf, but Michael Thorbjornsen, or as he's known on the channel, which I love his nickname is Thor. So I'm going Thor at 50 to 1. I like his chances here. Another good complete game. And I just think, you know, maybe a rising star pops out and takes it from some of the veterans this week. So those are my picks.
I think those are great picks as well. And I think the Nikolai and Højgaard brothers have done well at these events before as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a fun week. A lot of different storylines at this tournament.
For sure. Well, it is heating up in the golf space, and with that comes releases and drops. And we actually did finally have a couple new product releases and apparel releases this week. The first one, which I thought was really cool, was Adidas dropped the Originals series for golf, which I will say the vibes are definitely given like 70s golf, desert golf, and it was perfectly timed with the Amex. And so, yeah, it's just kind of got a little swag to it and definitely retro golf vibes. Did you get to see any of that I posted?
Yeah, and I've always been a fan of Adidas stuff in general. Like I have a couple pairs of the shoes and they're just super comfortable. They look good. So I've been a fan of their stuff for a while. Their golf shirts actually fit me very well. And so they're very comfortable to play in. And so I like the style a lot. Like it's casual, but it still kind of has an elevated feel. So yeah, this is something that I would.
Yeah. They continued on with the releases, which they were blending the sports of soccer, which obviously soccer is going to be talked about a lot this year, given the World Cup. But they're blending one of the most famous soccer geared shoes, the Samba, with golf, and they released a line of golf Sambas. I like this as a person who's a big fan of soccer. Seeing that kind of shoe, I was like, it looks pretty good. I think it's definitely more on the casual side of golf shoes. You're probably a golf purist, and I get that, but it's a cool looking shoe for golf. That's what I'll say.
And are they like spikes or do they have soft spikes on them?
It's
Like
the
they're
soft
golf you play
spikes.
in. Okay, so you play in them. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
very cool.
Which is a very popular trend amongst like the Jordan releases and some of the more modern shoe releases. They do those kind of soft spikes. Yeah. All right. So the last product release, which I'll talk about, the PGA show, which gets a lot of press, was held down in Florida this past week. Biggest number of vendors and booths that they've ever had. Again, just showing more growth in golf. But for the big product release this week, actually, I mentioned it. One of my high school best friends started Blue Tees company, which now makes rangefinders and speakers and all that stuff in the space, released their first launch monitor. And launch monitors have gotten a lot of press over the years just because I think people are golfing more in simulation and at home. And what's cool about this launch monitor is it stays within reason as far as price. I think it's like $500-$600, but it has some of the more key metrics that a lot of previous cheaper monitors don't have. So it actually does track spin and gives you all your kind of key stats, and then also pairs into simulation software where you can put it on a course. It's not just reading out numbers to you. You can actually kind of do a course feel to it and play around. So I think this is cool. I think bringing more opportunities for golf to the home is a great trend, and I think something that should be invested in, and something like this will definitely help that. What do you think about launch monitors and all this kind of growth in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great move. I had a launch monitor for a little while, but I think my biggest complaint is that it couldn't integrate with some other systems. And so I think really smart move by Blue Tees to make a product that has a way to connect to these other softwares where you can play a course or a virtual range or something. Yeah, it's becoming cheaper and cheaper to really get focused insights on your game. I feel like Arcos Golf was like the big one at first, where you had the grips or the plugs to get your distance and all that. But something that's portable and easy to take anywhere, whether you put it in your garage or you take it to the range, like that's huge. And for a relatively good price point, like I'm looking at that now. I want to see if that is going to work good in my home.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited. All right. Well, we have a couple fun games here. I'm going to run you through some on the back of the news of Michael Assasso joining LIV and passing up his chance to play at the Masters, at least for this year. I have no doubt that more than likely the number one amateur in the world will eventually probably get to Augusta at some point. Him sacrificing that made me think about like, man, if I even just had a round at Augusta and I had to give it up, what would I give it up for? So I'm going to give you a couple things that you have to decide. Would you sacrifice playing around at Augusta for?
Okay.
And for
and
the
this is not
and for the argument's sake, this is forever. So you're never going to get to play at Augusta.
okay. My follow-up question is this legally binding if anybody sees this later?
No.
Okay, then good.
Yes. Okay, so the first one up, going straight to your pocket. $25,000. Would you give up a round at Augusta for $25,000 cash in your pocket?
No, that's a lot of money, but no, I'd rather play Augusta.
I played around with this value. I thought like, anything like in the $100,000 range, you're for sure taking the $100,000. But 25 was questionable. 25, you're not passing up. I like it. Good commitment. This next one, you get to take a UK golf trip and play all the open venues.
See, that's a tough one. And this one would be controversial because I could see the argument being made. You get to play all the courses where golf was created. I think I'm still going to say no, but this one definitely had me pause a bit.
Yeah. Getting to play St. Andrews is definitely on that bucket list for sure, but it's the rarity of the amount of people that play Augusta versus St. Andrews Old Course has got to be staggering. So understood there. This next one, kind of pulling at the heartstrings a little bit. I know this is probably would be a big deal. It's something I'll never do. I'm more likely to play Augusta than this. But the course record at your local course, you have it.
And that's a good one too, because most places have that written somewhere in the clubhouse or in the restaurant or something like that. That would be a really cool stamp to have, badge. But no, I think I would still forego it to play Augusta.
See, this is a big deal that Lasasso's
Yeah.
passing up on this. This one definitely gets the value-wise to question it. A membership at any country club in America that isn't Augusta. A membership.
Similar to the UK trip, this one, like, I'm going to give my answer, but I may need to revise it later because it was like, oh, well, there's not that great, many great other places. I'm like, well, there's Riviera Country Club, which I would 100% want to be a member there. Yeah, I'm going to say no because I still feel like I would want to play Augusta. I would worry that I made the wrong decision.
This is the first one where I would have said yes.
Okay.
So this is the first one where I would have said yes. You have so many options, and it's one of those things where, yes, it's an amazing golf moment to play Augusta, but you're going to be able to play this course that you belong to whenever you want, have everything that comes with it, become a member there. So this is the first one I'd probably say no. You get to be club champion at any course you want 3 years in a row. Just get to own that title. There's a lot of love that comes with being club champion. A lot of people will spend their entire lives. I think Dan Rappaport just became club champion at his home course, which I just played, and I'm just trying to think. It's the country club that starts with a B in Los Angeles. Anyways, Brentwood, thank you. Brentwood, he just became the club champion. How's this one stack up for you?
Can I be the club champion at Augusta? I'm going to say no.
Yeah. I'm sure that being the club champion at Augusta is not that hard. I mean, relatively.
I also feel like, is that really something to show, knowing that the pros are coming in next week to just smoke you?
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying no to this one. Okay. This one's good. This one's good. Tickets to the Masters every year for the rest of your life.
There's nothing worse than getting that email every year saying you didn't get Masters tickets.
Not for you anymore. You get to go every year.
Unfortunately for me, I think once I'm there to be able to see it, it's not going to be enough. And just to always know that I would go every year only to be on the ground, I think that would hurt.
Dang, good. I'm glad you thought about this. This is good. All right. This one's kind of funny one. I don't think I'm going to get you to say yes, but I'm going to throw these carrots out here anyways. Play around with any 3 YouTube golf channels that you pick.
That would be a lot of fun. I will say no, but also would be hard to turn down. That'd be such a good time.
Definitely. Honestly, this one, I think I'm a no on it as well, but it's very close. And then this last one, I might get you. Play around with Tiger Woods.
I think that's a good one to end on because growing up with Tiger Woods being the athlete that you look up to, I don't think there's anything else that you would want to turn down in place of getting to spend 18 holes learning from him, talking to him, and just say that you've played with Tiger Woods.
Did I get you?
I think you got me. I would give up a round at Augusta to play golf with Tiger Woods.
Oh, I knew I could do it. I'm so excited. Hopefully all these things happen. But yes, I too would give up Augusta for a round with Tiger. That's something beyond incredible. So good. Well, I'm glad you stayed committed for 7 of the 8. Last one got you. But yes, now here I'm going to drop a bomb on you. I don't think you know this, but one of the reasons I will forever be upset at my father is he got to play and played without me.
You're kidding me.
No. Yeah.
He got to play at Augusta? My goodness.
And
how old were you?
Didn't take his 19-year-old son that was in Georgia at the time. I was an hour and 30 minutes away from Augusta National.
Oh, man, that does hurt.
Yeah. But hopefully the door's not shut with that, and we have a long time to make it happen. Yeah. All right. You got I'm going to give you the next game. This next game is where usually we spend $15 on different categories. Today we're spending $10 creating your most ideal golf bag. And so the categories are driver, irons, wedge, and putter. I'm going to list you off some products. You tell me which one you want to pick. Stay under that $10 range. Okay?
Yeah. And this is harder now because usually we do like $15 for 4 categories. And now we're doing 10. So this will be fun.
Yeah. It presses you a little bit more. All right, starting off with the big stick. Driver. For $1, you get the Nike Sumo. 2, Wilson Dynapower. 3, Cobra Dark Speed. 4, Ping G430, and 5, Titleist GT.
I think this might surprise some people, but I tested it and I hit the Wilson Dynapower the same distance that I hit my Sim 2. So I'm going to save for a little later and I'm going to choose that Wilson Dynapower.
You must be a good golfer because only a psychopath would choose the 2 on a driver.
Hey, I will defend Wilson Golf for the rest of my life. I love Wilson Golf and especially that Dynapower. It's a solid driver.
You and what army, man? So we got next is the irons category. For $1, you got a used Titleist T300, 2 TaylorMade Sim 2, Trixon ZX15 for number 3, 4 Titleist T100s, and 5 TaylorMade P770s. Did you mean to say P790s?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but I think the 770s are the players' irons.
I wouldn't know, but yes. This
is hard, but I am going to spend, I think, a lot here, but then that's like half my money. I'm going to do it anyway. So I play the Titleist T100s and I love them. And I feel like I wouldn't have a good enough game if I didn't have an iron that I could work a little bit. So I'm spending $4 for the T100s.
I mean, it's great. You still got $4 left. Or no, you did. Yeah, you got $4 left. So you got plenty. On to the wedge. $1 Tour Edge Wingman, 2 Callaway Jaws, 3 TaylorMade MG5, 4 Vokey SM10s, $5 Miura milled.
This is hard because I know I only have $4 left. So I either spend it all on a Vokey and don't putt the rest of the round, but I'm going to have to split it. And I think I'll spend half of it, $2 on the Callaway Jaws.
That's good. I actually played Callaway Jaws wedges for a while. Great wedges.
All right.
Your putter. Last one in the bag. You got 2 options. I'm going to give you them all. I'm actually going to give you it in reverse. So we got $5 Toulon Blackout. Don't even know what that is. 4 Scotty Cameron Phantom. 3 Odyssey Jailbird, which, man, that's having a resurgence in a lot of bags. 2 Wilson Infinite, and 1 an off-brand used putter off eBay.
I love it. And I'm so glad I still have $2 because the Wilson Infinite was one of the most popular putters of last year. And even though it doesn't have the best feel, I would spend my last $2 on that.
Nice. That's good. You made quite a good play. If Wilson wants to throw out a sponsorship for the podcast, eventually we're giving you a lot of love. So just saying. Well, great. Nice.
Please.
You got your bag. Let's see how you go. Let's get you these clubs and see how you go play.
Let's do it. So Dez, do you have a list in your head of the most annoying things that people do on the golf course?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to give you a list of things and you're going to blind rank them from the most annoying to the least annoying. So I have 10 things here for you. Are you ready? Okay. When somebody walks in your line.
It's not a big deal for me. I would never do it because I'm a big etiquette guy. Being as bad a golfer as I am, I at least try to stick with the etiquette. Not a big deal for me, though, if someone did. I'm going way low. I'm going 9.
Okay. I kind of feel the same. I don't love to call people out when they do it, even though they shouldn't. All right, and on to the next one. Someone's talking while you're hitting.
It's a little bit closer to the top. I'll go 7.
Okay, 7. Yeah, you can still kind of play, and it's not a big deal, but it can get annoying. All right, this one is very controversial. When someone says nice putt before the ball went in, and then usually it lips out.
It's funny. I've seen pro golfers when they play with YouTubers get really upset about this. Like even on good shots before it lands, good putts before they go in. It's funny. It never crossed my mind as something that would upset people, but really good golfers get very upset about this. For me personally, I'm going to go, gosh, if I'm hitting a great putt, I don't care what you say. Go scream, go do whatever you want. That's great. I'm going 10, which is crazy. But yeah, I just hit a great putt. I'm in a great mood.
I get that. But I think people get really upset when then it doesn't go in. And I've heard somebody say to me, it's the equivalent of saying, well, that team will cover the spread. And then they don't, they kind of jinx it. So I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's kind of personal to me. This makes me sound pretentious, but when somebody comments consistently on how well you're playing during a round, like, does that get in your... get.
These are such rare occurrences for me. It is a little bit of that jinxing thing, though, which I do get. I'm gonna just set this up so that I have all the top ones to pick from. I'm going 8. I'm gonna slot it right in there at 8.
I like that. So you got 6 and above.
Mhm.
Okay, this one also controversial. When somebody's hitting from the back tees when they definitely should not.
Up there, way up there.
Really?
It slows the game down so much. You're probably gonna say this next one eventually, but maybe I'll save it for later. I'm going 3, and I'm gonna leave some room either way, but I'm gonna go 3. Very annoying.
I think that's a good pick, and it definitely affects the vibe of the whole round if it's off. Okay, so kind of related, but this one's more general. Slow play. Too many practice swings, too much time looking at their putt.
2, for sure.
Okay.
It's the thing that it's the cancer to golf. I mean, literally, if you were to think about one thing that stops people from playing, it's 5-hour rounds. It's insanely long setup shot. I mean, yeah, it's
I totally agree. And I think something has to be done. Okay, this one is, I'll tell you my thoughts after, but having to search for somebody else's golf ball all the time. Somebody's not paying attention and they're not watching their slice, and then you have to go spend 5 minutes looking for the ball.
Just because I'm banking on the kindness of strangers and sometimes friends with this one, I'm gonna go. It's a little less annoying. I'm gonna go. And you know what's interesting is I will always say golfers are willing to do it. Like even though it might be annoying and slow stuff down, they're always willing to help you look for a ball. I'll go 5.
5. Yeah, I think that fits well. Okay, this is another big one. Unsolicited swing tips.
I wish I saved my 5. It's right there though. So
Okay.
I'll go 6. I'll go 6.
Okay. That one drives me nuts, by the way, especially if I'm playing well. Like, just let me be in my space.
On the course is really never a good opportunity to get advice unless you really are searching or needing for it. There's very little that can come into your brain and fix your swing mid-round.
Definitely. All right, this one's kind of a hybrid, but somebody who's taking it way too seriously, getting angry, throwing clubs, yelling, somebody that's just way too intense in the group.
I'm holding out for some really annoying things that are on my list, so I'm going to go 4 on this one.
So I think we're actually down to the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this one, I don't know, and I'll ask what other ones you had in mind, but when a ball comes zipping by your head and nobody else for.
I am so on 1 for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the one I was thinking of, but that is an easy one. I think I did a great job on this list personally for my game, but that's great. That's a great one to end on. Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that really starts fights on a golf course.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. And it's happened to me way too many times. And then that's where I get really angry and I need to calm myself down. You don't want to be that close to just being hit right in the head and then falling to the ground. So I think you rank these all very well. What were some things that aren't on this list that you would add?
Waiting for the green to clear when there's no shot in hell you're getting there.
I missed that one. That should be up there.
That's insane. When we're sitting on, a drivable par 4 for a great golfer and you got a bad golfer up there saying, well, if I really could get a hold of it, it's like, dude, and we have to wait until that group clears on a par 4. Insane rage. It's happened a few times. It's funny because it's one of the most annoying things, but it's one of the greatest feelings when that person tops it about 50 yards off the tee. So, yeah, but that one really just gets me for some reason.
I think that's a great addition, and I feel dumb that I didn't add that, but very good.
Nice. Well, that was a fun game. Even though they are the annoying things, it was still fun to go through. All right. So this last game that we have is another blind ranking. We're going 2 this week. So I'm going to walk you through some elite golf signs. So what that means is when you see these things on a player, on a course, you're about to see some elite golf. And I want you to rank it from the best golfer to the worst golfer, although even the worst golfer on this is a pretty damn good golfer. So we're blind ranking the elite signs in golf. When you see it, you know it. The first one is a towel draped over the clubs.
That's actually a good one. Like that is up there. They care about their clubs. They know that they're hitting divots, but that could be that they're hitting bad divots. But I'll put that up there. I'll give that a 3.
Okay. Cool. Oh, and I'm sorry, there are 7 on this list.
Oh, okay.
So 1 to 7. Worn out sweet spot on irons.
Number one. I'm going to
That's
put
a good
that at
one.
number one. If you're hitting the sweet spot all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've all seen that picture of Tiger's like 7-iron or something, just a perfect circle in the middle. That's what I think of. I'm putting that number one.
That's a great number 1. Next one's another good one. Rusted wedges.
I mean, it depends. Are they rusted because they didn't take care of them? Or are they rusted because they know their wedge and they're not switching and they're having somebody clean out those grooves every time? I'll say kind of middle of the pack 5.
Okay. A staff bag.
I've seen people with staff bags who should not have staff bags.
Is that on the annoying list?
That to me is on the annoying list when it's not warranted. But 9 times out of 10, they're in the golf industry somehow. I'll put 2 on there.
Okay. Alignment sticks in the bag.
I'd honestly put that a little more down at the bottom. I'd say 6.
Okay. You got
It
2
could
left.
be a good golfer, really honed in, or it could be a new golfer trying to learn. Sure.
You got 2 and 7 left.
Okay.
This next one is divots consistently in front of the ball on the range. So there's those perfect divot lines.
Yep. I have 2 and 6. That's got to go 2. Yeah. They're hitting the ball first and they're taking the divot afterwards. They know what they're doing.
So divots on the range. So perfect divot lines. What does that tell you?
Good golfer. They're hitting the ball first. They're only taking a divot afterwards. So I'd put that in that second spot for sure.
Nice. And last but not least, that gets slotted into the 7 spot, mismatched or a dated club setup. So what's in the bag is quite mismatched.
Yeah. I mean, it could be that I had a very kind of mixed bag for a while because I liked what I liked, but it's also like, oh, I need a pitching wedge. Let me go grab one off the rack at Roger Dunn. So I'm glad I left that for 7 then.
Yeah, you did really good. Great blind ranking. I think those work out pretty well. Nice. Well, any time I'm paired up with a random group and I'm seeing any of those signs, I'm running for the hills. I don't know if I want to play with that person. Especially if I see worn out sweet spots. We're done. We're not playing. I'm calling it sick. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining and see you next time.